Welcome to Relics Radio, your favorite weekly podcast dedicated to the metal detecting and treasure hunting community. Here are your hosts, Ken from Adventuresindirt and Tony from 5280 Adventures.
Hey, March 5th, Wednesday here, 2025 on Relics Radio. I'm DK from Adventuresindirt, bringing you another Relics Radio with my buddy. Let's bring him in here. You know him as... 5280 Adventures. Tony, how's it going,
Buenos dias, senor.
How are you? Oh,
I'm good.
Sounds good, man. I'm hungry tonight.
It's going to be a while till you get to eat. We got a good guest tonight. That's
You're
right.
Yeah,
That's right. I'm doing well, man. How are you? How are you doing?
Doing all right. Doing okay.
Surviving? Keeping your head above water?
Yeah, it's been busy. We talked about it last show, and it's a little smoother. I got one job out of state that started up, so kind of smooth on that one a bit, but the other one's cranking also. So, but it's better than being bored, right?
How can you be bored? I know you're not bored.
I'm not bored, but
I'm not bored.
Retirement would be great.
Ooh, I agree. I think this working thing is cutting into my metal detecting time. So we got to figure out a way to get to retirement.
You know what's terrible is this last weekend. We had an incredible weather.
Oh my
man.
gosh. It was beautiful. It was probably the best weekend
degrees.
I've seen in I don't know how many months.
Yeah, and people are going to be saying, "No, why didn't you go out, Ken?" And it's Tony. And I was like, I actually charged everything up. I was actually going to go out.
Oh,
I was going to go out. And then you know what happened? Is she even listening? I don't know if my wife's listening.
No, she's not listening.
She doesn't listen to the show. Sorry, honey. But she says, "Hey, oh God, I want to do this. I want to go to this place and do some things." And she never ever really asked me to do anything. I mean, she knew I was charging my equipment and I was going to go out Sunday. And I thought, you know what, man, she never ever kind of holds that on me. She never does, ever. If I want to go detecting, she supports it 100%. She goes, "God, I was really hoping we could go to this place." And I thought, you know what? She had never asked me.
Yeah.
So I told her, "All right, great. Yeah, we'll do that, honey. No problem." Got up next morning, started doing some things. I'm like, "Hey, when are we going to go to that place?"
Yeah.
I don't think I want to go. And by that time it was too late for me to kind of gather my stuff up.
What did you have all charged up, ready to go?
I had my coil from my Deus 2.
Okay.
I had my headset, Deus 2 headset, my remote. I had my recording microphones. I had my recording cell phone. I had my GoPro.
This is only an hour and a half show. Hold on.
Hold on. I had had my belt.
Life of a YouTuber, huh?
Yeah. I had everything.
You're closer than I was.
Yeah. What'd you do?
I set up the plumbing and the drain to the vanity. I finished up the caulking in the shower and the baseboards.
You are doing a remodel. You're doing a renovation project at your place.
It's the whole thing. So one more bathroom to go, and then we're going to be putting it up for sale and seeing what we can do.
Oh,
so
yeah.
We'll see. Lots and lots of work, but I got to get it done because we need to sell the house. We need to buy a new house, and I need to get metal detecting because I'm tired of staying cooped up in this house on the weekends. So.
Yeah, you got to get that done already. Come on, man.
I know. It's ridiculous.
It's got a few more weeks until springs.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Where are we going this year? Where are we going to hit? We got a few options. Like, where do you think we'll be digging? Besides every other state that we've got friends at that we can go.
I know one place we're going to be at 100%. Rush to the Rockies 2025.
That is it. What is Rush to the Rockies 2025?
It's our national metal detecting event that we put on every single year with Eureka Treasure Hunters Club. This year, May 30th through June 1st, we're going to be out in beautiful, gorgeous Kiowa, Colorado.
Yeah.
5 different events, all seated. It's a seated hunt. And people from all over the United States come. I mean, I would think of off the top of my head, Florida, Texas, Colorado, Kansas.
Yep.
We got some people from Ohio coming in this year. I've got confirmations from
maybe Nebraska.
Nebraska.
Maybe Virginia.
So,
Yeah. Maybe New York. Maybe
yeah.
New Jersey.
So if you guys don't follow us on social media, get over to either Relics Radio, 5280 Adventures, Adventures in Dirt. We're posting all kinds of Relics Radio. I'm sorry, Rest of the Rockies stuff over on Facebook and our social media. So you guys can get over there, find the registration packet, and get signed up. Come visit with us. Relics Radio is gonna be there. You and I technically don't have any responsibilities.
See how we work that out this year?
3 days. We've got responsibilities leading up to it, but not those 3 days. So we're going to be live all weekend. Even thinking about doing maybe Are You Smarter Than a Relic Hunter live from Relics Radio.
The attendees, that'd be great.
Yeah, with some people at the event. So it's going to be a fun time. It's going to be a great weekend. Yeah. Camp out in my trailer the whole weekend and just metal tech, meet people, and just have a good time.
Yeah, our club's been around since 1973. It's one of the longest running, most well-organized ran clubs out there, the Eureka Treasure Hunters Club. And I think this is their 25th Rush to the Rockies that they've put on over the years. You know, we've taken some years off here and there, but boy, we got a whole committee that puts the thing together. It's going to be a really fun, well-organized hunt with a lot of good things happening. But yeah, check it out.
It'll be a good time. Good time for sure. Let's jump on the chat real fast. But before we do that, our guest tonight, I just want to tell everybody that's here early. We'll mention it later on here as well. Our guest sprung on us that we're doing a giveaway tonight. So sometime during the podcast, you guys got to be live here. So get over on the live chat, chime in, whether it's over on Adventures in Dirt or 5280 on YouTube. Get in there, throw some, have some fun in the chat. And you guys have to be present with us to win a little gift from our guest tonight. So just want to throw that out there real quick. But Mr. Bill Hayes is
Bill.
in the show early. Of course he is. Mandy's Candy, she won a giveaway.
She did. She has another chance tonight to win something.
Didn't she win a metal detector?
I think so, yeah.
It's awesome.
It's great.
Yeah. Detect SD, welcome in.
Howdy.
Hey, how about Copper Joe?
Hello, Copper Joe.
Yeah, I haven't seen Joe for a little bit.
You coming out to see us this year, Copper?
Yeah, he was here 2023 for Rush to the Rockies.
Sure was. Had a good time.
Nice. And Mr. Ill Digger.
Yep.
Let's see.
Dirty Money Lovers.
That's right.
I love it.
Robert Thompson.
Hello,
he's from Nebraska, right?
Yep. Good to see you, Robert.
Yeah. David. Full Metal Digger.
How you doing, Dave?
Hey, real quick, kind of off topic. I know we need to get to our guest. I don't want to keep him waiting, but man, David put out a video on his channel, and I posted. I spammed it everywhere. You guys got to go check out Full Metal Digger on YouTube. This restoration on a shaving knife, a shaving blade, was insane. You guys have to go watch that. Seriously, it was amazing.
I want to definitely hook these two up, our guest tonight and Dave, for sure.
Yes,
Dave's always finding some amazing medieval relics and stuff in Germany and England, and definitely
let's throw some medieval at our guest tonight. See the sweat beads coming down his face as he's working on that. 5 Mile,
man. How are you?
Hey, how about Lex Blazing Television?
Yeah, I like it.
Lex is down in the Springs, actually.
Yeah, what's up, man?
Yeah,
Lex, Dirty South.
Good to
see you. Yep. Welcome, everyone. Good to see everyone rolling in here.
Tons of people in the chat.
Holy cow. Hunter Neil, good to see you, man.
Speaking of the chat, Lois Rodriguez.
All right, Lois.
Wait, speaking of Springs is what I meant to say.
Flash in your pan, Ed.
Hey, Ed.
Yeah. Excellent, man. Welcome, everyone. Practical Ken. A lot of people rolling in.
Yep.
Steven Stark, I see you rolling in there. Yeah, let's get to our guest, man. I've been really itching to talk to JP, so let's get him on.
This is a long time coming, man. All right, let's get him on. Relics Radio, proud to present. Relics Radio. Hey, buddy, how's it going?
What's up, guys? What's going on? I know it's been a while, and I know you've been wanting to get me on the show for a good minute. So
we didn't want to sound desperate or anything like that, but we were desperate to talk to you.
Yeah, sorry.
We have a list. We have a list of people we want to get on the show. We keep it on a Google sheet,
all the way at the top.
Yeah, and we're like, let's get him on. Let's get him. Oh, he's busy this week. Okay, let's get him on.
Well, that's all right. I think we should start the show out this way, Tony, if you don't mind.
Yep.
Just a toast. I mean, with the two bourbons. There you go. Yeah. Toast to you, brother.
Cheers,
and then
cheers. I got a duck.
He's got a duck. Sorry.
I got a duck.
Sorry about that. I put you on the spot, Tony, but I figured,
I can always
call you
take a
out with
sip.
your bourbon with all mine, right?
Yeah, I look behind you there, JP. You got
I know,
a
my
little bit of bourbon.
gosh.
Yeah.
Why
I
did
like
we not
bourbon.
meet at your house to do the show here? I'm sorry.
I get it.
We got to talk to our production assistant here and get this set up, because this was just poorly decided.
Yeah. So I don't want anybody to think I'm an alcoholic by any means, but I actually enjoy bourbon. Just the different flavors and just the different types of bourbons, and there's no bourbon that's the same, and they're all different. And I enjoy it. So it's gotten to the point to where I collect a bourbon to just to enjoy it. And then if anybody comes over, it's always nice to offer up a type of bourbon that they like. But it's also good for when you start working on a really bad relic.
Yeah, we were talking about that before the start of the show. Like, I would need it just to calm this down from some of the relics.
Brings you down a little bit, settles you down.
There's been some times that those relics that are so bad, but they're also the super rare, expensive ones that you just you pray and hope for a positive outcome, and you just hope that God leads you in the right direction to use the skill that He's given me and to be able to restore these relics. So, some of them are stressful.
Hey, before we get started, tell us a little bit about you. Where you're from, and just real quick about kind of your history and who you are.
Yeah. So just who I am. I grew up born and raised in Maryland, but I currently live probably about 45 minutes from Gettysburg. I'm actually centrally located in a really good location, so I'm about 45 minutes from Gettysburg. I'm about 45 minutes from Antietam. I'm about 15 minutes from the Battle of Monocacy. I'm about 20 minutes from the Battle of Hagerstown, or there was the one in Hagerstown. So, I'm centrally located in a lot of Civil War activity and movement or camps. And so, I'm blessed with that. And, I got into relic hunting and then slowly got into finding all the Civil War relics. And that's it took off from there.
Spot.
So you don't have a lot of history around you, is what you're trying to say.
No, none at all. None at all.
Kind of struggle. You got to make a drive, to get to somewhere.
I told the story before, JP, but I remember my corporate office is in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and I went there the first time I went there. They sent some guy to pick me up. One of their field worker guys picked me up in his truck. He was going to take me to the office from the airport, and he said, "Hey, do you mind if I stop by my house real quick?" I got so yeah, sure. So I'm enjoying the view as we go, and he's driving, and I go, "So where do you live?" And he says, "Gettysburg," and I said, "Like the real Gettysburg?" I don't know anything about that part of the country except the history, but I couldn't tell you if I was in Gettysburg or not. And he pulls me there, and there's this field and a grove of trees. And for those of you that have ever been to Gettysburg once, or maybe you remember your first time you've been to Gettysburg, man, you can feel it. You can feel it. That history permeates you like, it is a tension. And I was just feeling like somber. I was feeling touched, man. Yeah. And I'm not usually like that. I'm not usually that type of guy. And it was really affecting me. And I asked the guy, I go, "Whoa," I said, I'm almost feeling this. You can almost see stuff going on. Like I'm imagining stuff. And he goes, "Oh yeah, my father and I have hunted that grove of woods for my whole life." And he said, he was telling me about all the stuff they find and all the stuff, the like historic people that kind of do all that stuff. And man, it amazed me to be in.
Yeah, and it's even more amazing when you're able to go door knocking, and it's really hard to get permissions in Gettysburg or around any major battlefield because those doors have been on the private properties. They've been knocked like over and over and over, and I've been blessed to be able to get several good permissions out of Gettysburg and find some really nice relics. Of course, obviously you're not allowed to metal detect on the Park Service property, but all the locations and private properties that are leading to Gettysburg, coming into Gettysburg, and also the retreat route of Gettysburg is just there's just so many spots and old homes and places that have been there since the 1800s, and getting those permissions. I've been really blessed with it, and those landowners that allow it, I just think it's amazing that they do that for the relic hunters, and that's why I think it's really important that all relic hunters, don't take it for granted. Make sure you take care of those property owners and do what you can to give them what they need. If they need help just outside of what, just if they need a fence, if they need a fence mended, or if they need something done, and it's personal, it's not because you want to metal detect the property, but truthfully, it's just taking care of them because they're taking care of you because they didn't have to allow you on the property. So,
amen.
When you do stuff like that, you're not, just helping yourself out, but you're helping that relic hunter that comes behind you that also, knocks on that door. That property owner is going to be more likely to allow another relic hunter to come in there and metal detect because you treated them right. So that's what it's all about.
Tell me about that one permission that you just thought you would never get that you finally got. And, kind of, I'm sure we all have those stories, right? Where you're like, man, I just never thought I'd get that permission. And I did. And maybe this is how, or this is what it meant to me,
Which one? I mean, I got like 10 or 15 of them that are like that.
Read the book, Ken. Read the book.
Wow.
I'm joking. I'm just joking. I mean, of course, everybody has their one location that they got. But I'll be completely honest with you. The first Civil War relic that I found, I never even was looking for Civil War relics, and I didn't even expect to find Civil War relics. And I went door knocking, and and I wanted to just find some old coins, and I was hoping to get into some really old silver and 1800 silver or anything along those lines, because that's the house site. That's what it was. And truth be told, I wasn't even in an area that I even expected Civil War activity to be. And I wound up stumbling into a camp, and it was a pinky camp that was untouched, and in an area that no one would have even expected Civil War activity to be. And of course, then I started doing research when I found this stuff, and I did find some, historical information about, there were Civil War troops in that area for a particular reason. And I was lucky enough to just stumble on the camp. So, a lot of people or relic hunters are like, hey, let me go hit this one location because it's, it's a lot of Civil War activity, or it's around a battlefield, but they're not realizing that there's a lot of Civil War locations to where they were there for reasons that weren't even related to like a battlefield or a battle, that they were actually there protecting certain things that were very important to, at the time, the U.S. government to protect. So, and that's how I stumbled upon my first Civil War camp. I was looking for old silver coins, and I found a Civil War bullet, and I was like, man. And then I found another one, and then I found a button, and then I found another button, and then I started just stumbling into everything and all types of brass. And I'm like, at the time I was like, hey, I didn't know any better. I started, hey, yeah, I found a Civil War relic. I posted it. And then people started reaching out like, wow. And they're like, you're on a good spot. I was new into it, and I just really didn't know. Here I am, I'm pulling up like 10 Civil War, buttons, infantry buttons, and I'm like, oh cool, look at the buttons I found. And people are like, do you realize what you're pulling up? And I'm like, yeah, they're buttons. And,
they're cool buttons.
At the time I didn't realize how important it was, but now that I've been into metal detecting now for some time and doing what I do, I realize how hard it is to actually find a camp that is a virgin camp that's been untouched. And needless to say, there was a lot of friend requests. And they were like, hey, how are you?
You got real popular.
And it blew up, and people were like, hey, would love to go metal detecting with you. But, I'll be honest, I was just very conservative, or kept it to myself, and I hunted that thing out. I took like 2 or 3 people to the spot after I felt like I got everything. And I know that sounds horrible.
He's one of
but
us. He's one of us.
yeah, I know that sounds horrible, right? But no,
No.
but they did come and they did find stuff. But
Yeah. How long ago was
you
that,
know,
JP? Like, how long ago
that-
did you start up?
you know, as crazy as this sounds, I started in 2017. 2017, maybe 2016. I started metal detecting in 2016, and it all started because of my youngest daughter.
No.
I've always wanted to get into metal detecting. It was something I've always wanted to do, but we were driving by a field, and my youngest daughter at the time, very young, she looks over into the field and she's like, "Hey, what's he doing?" I said, "Oh, he's metal detecting." "What do you mean?" I said, "Oh, he's looking for old coins, a bunch of coins and money." She's like, "There's money in the ground?" I said, "Oh yeah." She's like, "I want to go metal detecting." So I went out and bought a metal detector. I got the AT Pro, and took her out. And the first time I took her out, she wound up digging up an 1853 seated Liberty. $50, I should say. It was a big one, guys.
Throw that on there.
All right, let me throw this on you too. The other side was smoothed out. It was a love token.
No way.
So that's awesome, man.
Yeah,
Holy cow, that's a banger.
Yeah, it was it was just unreal. And of course my daughter, when she found it, she was like, "Oh, cool."
Oh,
and I was like, no, seriously, that's something kind of cool. And the landowner was kind enough and was super happy for her and allowed her to have it. But by the time that happened, she wound up just getting into the car and getting on her little iPad thing or whichever, and she was like, "Dad, I'm done." And so the metal detector went to me, and that's all you wrote. That's all she wrote. I mean, that's how it took off. And that's how I got into metal detecting. Crazy as that
going
sounds.
after like home knocking on doors, going at home sites, and maybe looking for coins, and then those relics you just talked about. Those were your first kind of wow relics.
And I have them all in one. Actually several cases, but I had my first bullet in the one case. I know exactly which one it is, and marked it up, and it's something really special to me. But more importantly, it was what got me in relic hunting is more important, and it's spending quality time with my daughter. You know what I mean?
There you go.
Even though she's not into it, and she didn't get hooked like I wished she did,
right.
It was that quality time that started out with her that got me into it. And but yeah, and then from there, there you go. I just got into it, but I've always been into repairing and fixing antiques, and then
we got to get into that for sure. Tony, you remember your first bullet? So we don't have a lot of Civil War here, JP, in Colorado, but we have a lot of, the cavalry was here, pre-Civil War era at times, 1858, stuff like that. And so we do find these camps. Tony and I have been lucky enough to get on a camp, same type of thing, where they stopped and maybe were hanging out a little bit, spent a night or two, and was constantly stopping up and down this trail. So we call them Civil War relics, but they're not. They're Civil War era type relics. You remember your first bullet, Tony, where we realized that we could find those type of relics here in Colorado?
Couldn't even imagine it. Like it just blew my mind away. And it's very similar to your story, to where, it was, come to find out, on a military road in a spot, a location that nobody had hunted before, was a virgin camp, and nobody had hunted it yet. There was other areas, as we kind of got into more research, there were other areas surrounding it that they had documented this particular spot. But that exact site where we found that camp had never been touched before. We call it the button house, because all we found were buttons and bullets, tons and tons of buttons and bullets,
needles
and sewing needles.
There you go.
Old,
but that relic, especially, I mean, for us, I mean, different for you, kind of, near-ish Gettysburg or Maryland area, but for Colorado, it was like, I never, I was like, oh, if we hit 1800s, we're, late 1800s, we were happy. So
you switched up your tactics. You dug every signal. Every signal.
The only thing there's one area that Ken and I were just talking about. We believe where the kind of the corral was. There's a lot of iron right there. That's the only spot that we didn't clean out. But if you go through those woods where we were at, if you found a tone, I would be surprised. We dug that
Yeah.
for close to 2 years.
We've cleaned it out pretty good.
Nice.
So,
Nice.
but yeah, same idea. Holy cow. Just couldn't even imagine that they were in that spot right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were all star carbine bullets. So not
Nice.
really.
Those are
cavalry.
nice bullets to dig. I mean, those are
They're
really
beautiful.
nice bullets to dig. Yeah.
Yeah.
I dug plenty of those.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to dig a bunch in one hole that was just tossed down into a hole. It was like a cartridge box that had all of them in one hole. So, yeah.
Beth had that too. I don't remember how many she pulled out in one hole, but I think it was double digits. She may have gotten 10 out of one hole. It was crazy.
Well, that's how I found my first one. It's kind of crazy because I didn't really find it.
Yeah,
but she was digging all kinds of them, and I was in a different area that was a little lighter and didn't have a lot of signals, but it was my area. You know what I mean? I was searching that area, and she'd be like, "Bullet," and I'd hear Tony go, "Button." I'd be over there not finding anything, and she's finally like, she goes, "Ken, come over here."
Yeah, I had a situation like that. I had a really good signal, and it was a regular bullet signal, and I dug down, and I started getting a bunch of black, and I thought, okay, well, maybe I'm into a fire pit. And then I saw the little green tips, and then another green tip, and another green tip, and I was like, man, what is going on here? And I kept really slowly working at it, because once I realized it was a Burnside carbine that was totally intact. And I was like, holy cow. Well, the Burnside carbines, when they're in the ground for an extended period of time, and that brass just corrodes, and they just, as soon as they hit the oxygen in the air, the natural air, they just start crumbling away. But as I slowly removed the dirt, I realized, and I actually have it on YouTube video. As I went into the hole, I actually realized that it wasn't just one bullet, but it was an entire location where I guess they just kept dumping them in a hole. I think I got like 100. I think I got 114 Burnside bullets out of there.
What?
And and they several of them. When I mean several, I mean probably. I want to say probably about 60 of them stayed intact.
Oh my gosh.
And then the rest of them just breaking up and crumbling away. But still, it was just amazing to find something like that. It's just, I mean, I guess, I'm spoiled because of the location, but even in a location like that, you just don't come across stuff like that. And when you do, it's just really amazing to be able to have that opportunity to be able to do it. So.
I think in that type of situation, and Ken and I have had those where you step back and the question that always comes up is, so what is the story to that? Why was that like that? And obviously we don't know the exact story, but we can come up with a story that kind of fits what was going on. They were, that was the entry into the camp, and they just dumped everything, before they went into camp because they didn't want to carry it or whatever. It was the way on the way out. They didn't want to carry it. Something, what an incredible story to it that we may never know. Why you found so many like right in that spot.
Yeah. It was nice.
So
it was a
cool.
blessing, that's for sure.
Did they not like those carbines? Like I've heard of certain rifles that they just didn't like, like the Gallagher, to where they would pitch those things. You know what I mean? And
I mean, I found several Gallaghers too. The thing about the Gallaghers, it's just when I find those are really corroded away, at least in the areas that I've found them. The Burnsides, the casing falls apart, and even the bullet itself corrodes away pretty good too, and the Gallaghers as well. But I don't know. It's just, who knows what the reasoning is behind it, because I know the Gallagher has two types of Gallagher. I think one of them has the brass, and then the other one has just the regular paper sleeve. I might be wrong on that, but I think
right.
There's two different types of Gallagher bullets. So, so super cool.
They didn't like those brass Gallaghers because they would heat up and explode in the breech. Like those soldiers really didn't like them. I think the Iowa 7th fired those a lot, or held those. And so you always hear these stories of them exploding in the breech. And I always tell the story that I actually found a Gallagher brass cartridge that was all blown apart at the site of an Indian battle. So, my mind goes to some poor soldier, from the Iowa 7th was out there shooting this Gallagher carbine, and this thing jams and explodes in the breech. He's trying to clear it while all this chaos is going on. It's like, wow.
Yeah, the Smith carbines like that too. The Smith carbine Civil War bullet. It actually has the rubber casing. It was like one of the first rubber casing bullets that the Civil War
Hmm.
used. And the Smith carbine, when they would shoot it, and then they would break the lock open and pull the one out, they would slide one in, but it would heat up every time. And from what I understand, that the actual rubber casing would sometimes get stuck inside the
Sure.
chamber to where they couldn't get it out, and they
Hmm.
had a lot of problem with those. So, yeah, I was blessed to be able to restore I did the 1857 Smith carbine. I restored it from the ground up for somebody, and man, the thing was beautiful. I broke the firearm was actually located in a barn. And it was resting up against a wall in the barn, and had a lot of moisture damage. It was totally seized up to where it wouldn't function at all, and it was really in bad shape. And the person reached out to me. So yeah, I restore firearms too, and
Yeah.
yeah, so
Nice.
I did that one from the ground up to where I did electrolysis on every nut and bolt and screw on everything. I re-blued everything, the barrel, every nut, bolt, screw, butt plate, everything. Got it all back together to where it was fully functional.
Oh my gosh.
To where the hammer. Now, when I got it, it was totally rusted up and
Seized up.
and
Yeah.
seized up, and it wasn't functional at all. But by the time the owner got it back, it was fully functional, and yeah.
Wow.
Not that he would go out and shoot it, but I mean, it was
Yeah.
gorgeous. It was gorgeous. It turned out beautiful. Actually, I did not want to send it back to him. I just wanted to keep it. It just because it wasn't something that you just do every night. I mean, I had um, a lot of time into it.
Yeah.
And what I mean, I think I worked on it for like 4 months, and
Man.
it was a lot of time,
Dang.
but it turned out absolutely stunning. So yeah, and I think I uploaded a video of that from the beginning to the end, the progression of
Mhm.
everything for people
Yeah.
to see.
Yeah, if you're just joining us, we're here with JP Hunts tonight. And if you're not familiar with JP, he so I first became aware of
Yeah.
JP by watching his YouTube channel, Mason Dixon Diggers. And Tony's going to put that link in the chat. We also have it down below in the video. But that's where I first became aware of him. And then eventually his restoration process and videos and clips of and images of him doing some restoration of some relics started coming across my social media, and just became aware of that. And we're definitely going to talk to him about how he got into that tonight. But if you don't know JP Hunt and his restoration, you've been in a hole somewhere. I
Yeah.
think it's synonymous now with relic repair, relic restoration, to say send it to JP, send it over to JP Hunts. It's pretty amazing. Like we were talking before the show, and I'm constantly saying, how did he do that? Like,
I wish I
how
had a
did he do
nickel
that?
for every time I said it, because I'd be a rich man.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah. And
Well,
I'm
there's a
not
lot
very
of
good at
people that message
commenting
me
on
and
your
say the same
posts.
thing.
No, I bet, man. I bet. So, we talked about how you got into relic hunting and all that stuff, and you're in an amazing area and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
how'd you get into relic repair? Like, what's your background? Is your background kind of in, kind of handyman repair,
Metalworking.
metalworking and
Metalworks.
stuff like
Yeah.
that?
Well, I would love to sit here and tell you that I'm a certified master jeweler, but I'm not. And a lot of times that there's a lot of restorers out there that are jewelers that are really good with metalwork and stuff, but I'm not. So I'll just to back it up. So I'll tell you how things sort of started out. It is might be a little bit long story, so just bear with me on
No,
this.
okay.
So. My father, growing up, was really into. I know this might sound crazy, but he was into model railroading, and what I mean by that is, it was kind of obsessive. But it wasn't the small little model railroads that you see people have. He actually had the large scale, and when I mean large scale, it actually went all through the entire basement. There was mountains and like bridges it went over, but when I mean obsessive, it actually went through the foundation of the house and went outside and went all
Wow.
over the outside throughout the entire backyard. Now, I bring this up for a reason because my dad was very meticulous about how he did things, and he was very good with working or building things and making things, okay, or fixing things. And, he would build bridges or build things or make things having to do with metal work or whatever it had to do with when it was working with the locomotives. And some of them, they weren't electric. I mean, they were actually like fuel fed to where they were live steam locomotives that went through. It was amazing. He was published in a couple magazines or whatever it may be, and it was just amazing. So he had a workshop. I was young, when I mean young, I was a kid, and he had a workshop, and he would make stuff and do stuff in there, and he was very OCD about how he did it, and it looked really good. But I would sneak into his relic, or not his relic, but into his workshop, and myself and my other brother, my brothers, and especially my younger brother, and we would go in there and fiddle around and do things that sons shouldn't do to their father's equipment. Or I'm surprised I didn't burn my parents' house down, because there was he had his workshop, and he had a lot of stuff in there that he could do metal work with, so in making things. So I would go into his workshop, and even at a young age, I would want to make like jewelry. I thought, how cool would it be for me to make crosses? So I would literally like carve designs or make designs in like wood and melt metal, and pour it and try to make crosses or try to make jewelry at a young age. Like I said, I'm surprised I didn't burn my parents' house down.
Right.
But I would make things just for like friends and stuff like that. And so I was really good with metalwork, even at a young age, or working with stuff or working with my hands and detail work. And I've always been very OCD. Even my mother used to comment about it, that I was never happy with something. I always had to have it just right. And even when it was just right, I was still never happy with it. So, like I said, it's a long story, but it sort of started out with that. And then it just went into, then I got into metal detecting, but I was always good with fixing relics or repairing antiques, or I always wanted to get into that and do things or fix things. So I always had that with me. And then I got into metal detecting, and truth be told, I was out metal detecting with a friend, and he found a breastplate, and the breastplate was tacoed over. When I mean it was tacoed like this. He said to me, "Man, it's just too bad I can't even lay it flat." Well, then it registered in my head, like I'm good with stuff like that. Like, hey, let me see what I could do. And he was like, "You sure?" And I was like, "Yeah, I mean, I think I can get that thing taken care of." And he was like, "Well, I got nothing to lose. I mean, it's a taco. I can't even display it." So he gave it to me. And I don't know, probably like a week later, I had that thing flattened out, and it was clean and it looked good, and gave it back to him. And he was like, "Oh my gosh, holy cow, I can't believe you did this." And I posted that up on one site. And that went to somebody I think was in Louisiana that had a breastplate that they dug, and they reached out to me and said, "I saw the work that you did. I want you to do this, and that." I said, "Hey, wait a second. I'm not a professional restorer. This was just something for a friend." And, and to back up a little bit, even before that breastplate, I was still working on like helping friends out. I was doing stuff. It was just sort of behind the scenes, like, "Hey, you got this that's messed up. Cool. I'll take care of it. You got that. Oh, I'll take care of it." You know what I mean? Someone had something that messed up. I just took care of it for them. But it took off, and then the person in Louisiana reached out to me. They had a breastplate that was totally folded, like 45-degree back angle. The lead was missing. And I was like, "Okay, well, let me see what I could do." I can't promise you anything. He sent it to me, and I crushed it. What I mean, I crushed it. I didn't crush it, but I mean, it turned out beautiful. I mean, it really turned out beautiful, to the point to where I was like, "Wow, this is, I got something here. Maybe, this is something that's, that I could do that just help people out." And that's what I like to do. I just like to help out the diggers. I don't do this for, any huge monetary gain. I just do it because I want to help out the diggers. And I posted it. and I like posted it just to surprise him, and then linked him to it, and it exploded. From that point on, that exploded, and then it was just like, hey, there's this guy out there, he's doing stuff, and now I'm up to where I'm getting like 5 or 10, closer to 10 requests a week. I can't even keep up. I mean, I shouldn't say I can't keep up. I'm keeping up. I'm turning them around really quick, but it took off crazy. I mean, it just it's taken off. I know that's sort of long and maybe a convoluted process of how I got here, but now that I'm here, it's just it's exploded. And I think we talked about it before the show. I mean, I had people from Australia reaching out to me. I had a curator from Canada reached out to me from a museum, wanted me to restore some buttons. And it's just, it's a blessing. And that's the way I look at it. But,
I just don't know how you do it, man. Like you do. It's crazy. Would you mind if I showed some of your work? I've got it kind of up on my screen.
Man, I didn't know you were going to do that, but sure.
You okay with that?
Oh yeah,
Tony,
show what you want.
Check it
Go
out.
for it.
I just don't. I don't know if you've never seen JP's work before.
There's got to show it off. Many
yeah. Okay. Let's start with something not simple, but something smaller.
Not simple. We'll jump right in.
There we go. Okay, let's do this one.
None of them are simple.
Yeah. Okay. You remember this one?
Oh yeah, I just recently finished that one.
Yeah. So what is this first before I start going on?
So that's a Civil War martingale, heart martingale. So if people aren't familiar with that, that actually went on the chest of a horse, of a cavalry horse, for a Civil War soldier. It just went right on the chest, and it had straps that went around that were mounted into the soldier's saddle and everything else. So pretty cool find. They're really hard to find. They're really rare to find.
Yeah. So as we go through here, this is kind of some of the conditions that he was dealing with. And so as we go through this, I mean, you look at that and you're like, boy, that's going to be tough.
Right.
I mean, who would even try to straighten that out or try to, it'd be like, oh, I found this thing is pretty wiped. It's pretty, but as we start going through this here, look at this.
Yeah.
Dang.
Like, that had to take a little while.
It's pretty.
But to go from, that to this, that's looking pretty good right there.
And just to also clarify things, I mean, what you're showing there, the previous photos are the actual back, the lead backing, which are going to have the metal straps in it to hold it to the leather. And then what you're showing there now is the actual front. Of the buckle, or not the buckle, but of the martingale. But I mean, what is more important to me is that for the relic hunters that are out there, it's really important to try to make sure that you're getting that exact patina. So if you're looking at as you look at that photo and you're looking at the left side of that, you can notice that that was the location where most of that entire outer rim was missing, and even on the right side of it. And what I like about this martingale more than anything is the patina match. I mean, that just when I finished this one, I was like, man, this is really hard to even tell that it was even repaired. But, most of the people that realize or know me with restorations, I don't repair everything. I repair the major damage, and I leave flaws, and I leave things that are there. So for instance, in the, where your arrow is to the upper right, you can see there's a lot, that I left there. That was where it was bent, but I just put it back into its proper form, but I left those crease lines there. And then down in the center, you see the raised nodules that are sticking out. I mean, that's obviously from the iron deposits that are coming through to the front. Could I have repaired that? Sure. But to me, that gives it character. It gives it its originality to it, to where it looks really good. So, I repair enough to where it's the major damage to where it's presentable, to where it can go with on display. But I don't, or at least I feel, I don't go too far. Now, if a relic owner, and I give them that option, if they say, hey, I want to have it all done, I want to have this done and that done, it's not my relic to dictate to somebody what they should or shouldn't do. I give them what I personally would do, or what my experience with something to that level, what I think they should do. but ultimately it's up to the relic owner to make that ultimate decision. There's that fine line when it comes to restorations. And, that's a hot topic, and we'll go ahead and get into that, and I'll just break the ice with it. There's some people that say you should never restore relics, and there's some that say you do.
Yeah.
And to the people that say that you should never restore a relic, I respect that. I don't say that you're wrong. I don't say that you're wrong for saying that too, but it also is twofold. It goes the opposite direction. It's for someone that owns a relic that digs it up. If they dig it with their shovel or they mess it up, tearing it out of the ground, and if they wanted to restore their relic, no one should bash that individual or make them feel bad for wanting to display it properly. So I don't push restorations on anybody. I tell them that I provide a service, and if they want me to fix a relic, I can fix it. If they choose to have it done, if they don't want to have it done, I respect that too. I go either way, and I just I do whatever somebody wants me to do. If they say, "Hey, I don't want you to fix the lead on the back, but I just want you to unfold it," that's what I do. If they say, "Hey, I want you to fix the entire thing," that's what I do. I just provide a service, and I leave it to the relic owner because they are the holder of that relic to pass it down to future generations. But as you know, I give a certificate of restoration with every relic that I do.
The patina match and the patina, keeping hold of patina, I think is what's so amazing about your work. Yeah. Cause you don't polish it up. You don't try to change what it is. You just put it in a little bit of better shape. This is a belt buckle, right? That came into you. This is the original condition. Looks like what we would find out there. I know I never found a belt buckle or a plate out here in Colorado, but as we start going through this, it's pretty, it's damaged. And
you got a buckle up now? I don't see it.
Yeah,
is this? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, am I not? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not.
I'm still seeing the martingale.
Got it.
You're looking at one of the other 7 screens that you've got.
I thought it was the screen share I did. Sorry about that. Here we go. Share screen and that one. That's it. Sorry. Here we go. So that's a belt buckle, not a box plate, right?
Yeah, that one. I think that is a box plate.
Okay.
But I'm now maybe it's a buckle. I've worked on so many relics that sometimes it's hard to remember, and I apologize for that. But maybe this is a buckle. I would have to see the back of it, but
So
but
this is pretty damaged. I mean, the owner of this brought this to you, kind of wanted to see what you can do with it, and that was their desire, like you just said, right? And as you start going through years,
it's a baby box plate.
Baby box plate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Baby US box plate, which is rare to come by. I mean, you get your normal box plates, but and just so people are aware that you have your cartridge box plates, because you have viewers that are watching this that don't know a lot about Civil War information. So just to bring people up to speed, this is a cartridge box plate or sometimes these smaller ones would be actually on the primer pouch, the smaller pouch that a Civil War soldier would wear. And they usually have the larger ones that are on the bigger cartridge box plate. Yep.
It's going to come up later. I'm probably jumping the gun here a little bit, but how many people don't believe what you've done? Is there a lot of people that say there ain't no way? There's no way.
No. In the beginning, when I first started restoring relics, when it came to Civil War relics, in the beginning, there was one comment that was like, "Oh, now I don't know if he was serious or if he was just joking because it looked that good." He commented that, "Oh, you had to Photoshop that." Now, just to let you know, I'm completely transparent, and you guys are aware of that by the fact that I post the before and afters. But I'm a little bit even more transparent with the actual relic owner, to where I give them before, middle, and after photos, okay, they can have for their records. Now, when someone makes a comment like that, or that one individual that did, it baffled me, because I'm like, why would I Photoshop it if then I'm sending that relic back to the owner and it's going to look the same
Right.
as what I posted. Like, you mean I would Photoshop something and then send it back to the owner and it would be something completely different? No.
Right.
What you see or what I post online for social media for the viewers is what the owner is getting back in the mail as a completed relic. You know what I mean? That's exactly what they're getting. And there's the reason why I posted before and afters. So yeah, and as you
chocolate
see,
patina, man, I like that.
oh, I love the chocolate patinas. But as you see there, that I like to put that there because I want people to see that this is now washed, and then after I work on it, this is what it looks like. And I try to be as transparent as possible. That one I remember this one
Yeah,
now.
it's
Okay,
got a
this isn't the
maker's
one I'm
stamp.
thinking of one. So this one is really hard repair on me. This was really hard. So this did have the now I remember this one. This had the maker stamp, the Smith and Smith and I can't remember right now, but it has the maker stamp that's on that, and the lead is cracked and damaged all the way around it. And I had to make sure that once I discovered I had a maker stamp, I had to make sure that I kept that maker stamp
Yeah.
in that lead. This is more difficult than you think because lead melts at a lower temperature than other metals. And to preserve that maker's mark is really hard to do. And I was able to preserve that maker's mark on this. I mean, it turned
Wow.
out beautiful at
Look
the
at
end.
that.
I mean,
Wow.
Look at that.
yeah. Yeah, it turned out beautiful. The owner of that was super stoked when he got that back, especially because I was
amazing.
able to maintain that maker's mark and keep it there.
Okay. How did you go from that to that?
Well, I mean, I could tell you the
Amazing.
truth. I could tell you the truth exactly how I started out with bourbon, and it helps a whole lot.
Started and finished
the
with
key.
bourbon, and somewhere in the
Yeah.
That's
middle
the
of
key.
there, you
Yeah,
did
It
some
turned
work.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that
So,
thing.
yeah, it turned out beautiful. And so, and that still has the chocolate patina on there. And all I do is I put the Doug look on it. Now, I want to go into this while you bring this photo up for all the viewers to see, and just to give a little a recommendation. Okay. I didn't have it with this plate, but I would love to have it with every plate that I do or relic that I do. Recommendation to relic hunters that are out there, and when they find a relic that is damaged or that they ding, do me a favor, especially if you've been metal detecting all day and you got a peanut butter jelly sandwich with you. Eat that peanut butter jelly sandwich. Take that plastic bag and put the same dirt in that plastic bag that you dug that relic out of that hole. And the reason why is because that dirt patina and the minerals that are in that dirt that made that patina is the exact dirt that I would like to put back on the relic after I restore it.
Wow.
Okay. So once I restore it, I would like to put that exact dirt back on your relic because it gives it that original patina look. So if I don't have that dirt, I then have to match up different types of dirt that I do have, with that relic specifically to try to match the dirt that it was dug from. Now, dirt and patina are completely different. What I mean, there's the patina under the dirt, but it's always nice to have the original dirt that you dug it with, because when I start a relic or work on it, I'm cleaning all that dirt off. And to have that original dirt from that hole is beneficial. Another little hint, okay? If you're a relic hunter, you dig up a plate like this and it's damaged out in the field, and you happen to dig up like 10 Civil War bullets or camp lead, specifically camp lead in that same area, and you don't care about the camp lead, please send that camp lead with your buckle. Because I like to keep these items or these relics as original as possible. So I would like to put that camp lead that you found near your buckle on the back as the lead that used to be there or that's damaged, add it to it. So that's what I mean. Like I do my best to keep anything as original as possible. So if you have original camp lead, send it with your relic. If you have dirt that's there, send it with your relic, because that makes it better on an outcome, I feel, to where
Yeah.
it works out a whole lot better. And the biggest recommendation that I can give somebody is, if they ding something with their plate or they mess it up, do not try to straighten it. Do not try to do anything with it. Send it to me in the condition that you dug it up in. I just recently had someone try to or ask me to repair a specific button, and I told them that I wouldn't do it because they put a bunch of oil on it. And I'll explain why later. I'll explain why later you don't want to do that if you want a restoration done. But I see another
just one more. We'll look at one more, and then we got a bunch of questions.
Oh, I remember that one.
Users. Like, this one's ridiculous. I think this is another, like, no way, right? Like,
I remember that one.
All right. Do you ever think no way? And then it challenges you, and you pull it off?
I have a couple of no ways that are even in my workshop right now that I'm like, why did I take this on? And this is another one. Now, I can tell you, looking at this one, if it's the one that I remember correctly, I can tell you why I took this one on. The owner of this plate, if it's the one that I'm thinking of, the owner of this plate, it was the first plate they ever dug, and they dug this one up in Gettysburg. They sold me on that. Okay, so that right there was, I'm all about helping the digger out. It's their first plate. They dug it up in Gettysburg. I really wanted to make sure that I took care of this for them. So if this is the one that I'm thinking of, which I think it is.
I mean, it's
tacoed with the crack in the middle. Holy crap.
Yeah, all the edges are rolled. It's
disaster, right?
Out, but it would still be like, oh my gosh, it's still a plate, like.
Well,
And then Gettysburg, forget it. Like,
I mean, this one
top,
got me. So
yeah,
look at that.
Here we're kind of going through kind of the condition of it. It just looks, maybe beyond repair. I don't know, man.
Almost two pieces. It looks
almost
like
2 pieces.
Real close.
Like, I wouldn't even want to touch that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even touch it. And JP, you take this on.
Yeah. Right.
So what are these materials? This is brass and lead, right?
Yeah. So you're going to have a brass stamped sheet brass that's on the front that they used in the Civil War. And then you have the lead backing. And then, I like to call it a backbone. Some people might not call it that, but I refer to it to the backbone of a plate, which is gonna, in this plate, it's a cartridge box plate, so it's gonna have the actual loops, and it's 2 wires that are gonna be iron wires that run inside the lead that come out into a loop on the ends. Of course, a buckle is different, and I like to always call it the backbone structure of the buckle. And in this situation, it was completely snapped. Yeah, it was. I don't know what I was thinking. And as you can see right there in that last photo, you can see what I mean by the 2 lines that come down. That's what I call the backbone structure of it. And depending on how that's rolled, if it's bent or snapped or rolled, in this situation, I find it easier to work with. I know that sounds crazy when the backbone is actually bent that way rather than along the lateral line of the backbone, because when you have more of a roll like this, it's a little bit harder to work with than a roll or than a taco. I find I've done both.
Look at that.
Yeah.
You just took a picture of some other one. You just threw it in there.
Yeah,
right?
that's not it.
Well, that's why I do before and afters, and that's why I zoom in for parts of the specific buckle. You'll notice, or plate, I add the details or show the details of the original plate or buckle, and then I add the additional photos at the end that have the same details or flaws that are in it. Like I said, I leave some flaws on the plate. You know what I mean? So, and just another one with
amazing.
The patina just turned out beautiful.
Yeah,
that's gorgeous.
Patina turned out. Yeah, I love that chocolate. But this one has more of like a chocolate rust patina to it, and that's the way it was when I washed it off initially. It had a chocolate rust patina to it. Yep.
Yeah. All right. Wow. Are you willing to say how long this took you, if you remember?
Yeah, that one I think took me 12 hours. That was a
That's
joke.
it?
No,
I thought
that
you
was
were
a
gonna say
joke.
12 weeks.
No,
12 weeks.
that was a
12
joke.
hours.
And so, yeah, that was a joke. No, it took me a long time. I mean, now look, I welcome anybody that to go onto my Facebook page. I always link the owner of the plate into my photos. I do that with every restoration that I post. I do that for a reason. Not just for the relic owner to be notified that I posted their item. I want other relic hunters to do me a favor, reach out to these relic owners that I've repaired their plates for, and I want you to ask them what they thought about their transaction, or what they thought about, I shouldn't say transaction, or their dealings with me when it came to restoring their relics. I post that there for a reason, because I pride myself on my reputation, and I want people to be happy with what I do for them. But and I welcome you to ask them how long it took them to get their relics back. I'm completely transparent with people, and I tell people, like I said, I usually get 5 to 10 requests a week. I usually have many relics in front of me at a time, but depending on the extent of damage, I like to have at least about a month to a month and a half turnaround. And to me, I think that's my average. And I've stuck to that average. And some people will chime in on this on the show here, or even mention even on Facebook that I've had relics turned around to people even quicker than that. I do my best to get them back to you as quick as possible. Like I just had, I was down at the Virginia Relic Show. I went in there and I took my agreements with me in my backpack, and I had several people stop me and what restoration's done, and I took relics back with me.
Wow.
And that was on Saturday, and I got a spur from somebody on Saturday. It was completely snapped and bent, and I got it from him on Saturday, and I sent him a message on Monday and told him his spur is completed and in great shape. And it'll be out in the mail to him real soon. So, it all depends on the item or the relic. I mean, obviously, the ones that you see are really bad. They take a little bit longer. But if it's something that's smaller that I can work with and turn it around quick, I will.
Yeah. You talk about asking people that have worked with you before. This is our friend Michael Heim. He's a preacher digger on YouTube. Good friend of the show, good friend of ours personally. We've dug with him in England a few
Great
times.
guy.
Great guy.
Yes.
And just quick, this is kind of a shot of this kind of plate that he found. It's not in very good shape. Looks pretty banged up, you know what I mean? And you end up doing that. Like his display there is now beautiful. You got that certificate of restoration up there. So
I forgot. I tell you, I do that with all the restorations.
Yeah. So a great job. And, we've talked to him too about working with you. And I think we brought you up with him, and he's like, oh, he did an amazing job for me. And I know we've sent other people your way, and we're always saying here on the show that, if you got something that needs to be repaired, do you have any competition out there? Like, man, I'm telling you, you do such great work. I don't know that. I guess I don't know everybody out there, but at least in our social media world, our YouTube world, I don't know anybody else is doing it.
Well, I will say there's other restorers out there that are doing it, and they are doing a remarkable job. I mean, I've seen some of the work that other restorers have done, and I just am in awe. I'm just like, wow, that's great. It's beautiful. I commend all the other relic restorers that are out there that are doing the same line of work that I'm doing, and because I think they feel the same way that I do, is that it's about preserving the relics and putting them in a better condition than what they were in, to where they're able to be displayed for future generations to enjoy. Because I mean, that's what it's all about. You know what I mean? Getting them out of the ground, you've already saved them by getting them out of the ground. But if we can preserve them to where they can get passed down as family heirlooms, to me, that's what it's all about. And that's what I care about. It's just, preserving one relic at a time. That's the reason why I had that on the back of my T-shirt, preserving one relic at a time, because that's what it's all about. Just passing it down to other generations to enjoy.
Yeah. It's amazing work,
So,
man. We take our hats off to you for sure.
yeah, I appreciate
Absolutely.
it. Well, it's funny
Cheers.
you mentioned preacher. Yeah, cheers.
There you
There you go, brother.
Cheers to you, buddy.
Cheers.
Yeah, there you go.
I still
So
just
you
have the
mentioned,
call my bourbons upstairs.
so you mentioned preacher digger, you know, and you know, he's a great guy and stuff. And I'm only bringing this up because you mentioned preacher digger, and I know he's a preacher and stuff, and very faithful. And you know, a lot of people realize I'm, you know, or know that I'm very faithful too. You can tell by the post that I put on my feeds and stuff. But you know, like you know, I've told you this already, and I've mentioned it to other people, but you know, I'm not in this for, you know, making any, you know, huge monetary gains. Yes, I get paid for what I do, but it's not to the extent for the amount of time that I put into these relics, you know. And I bring this up because, you know, there's been many situations to where some people are just in a bad situation in their life. And I don't mean financially. They can afford to fix something. But what I mean is, you know, there's been a number of occasions that people have just been in a bad situation in their life to where they've got family members or loved ones that are ill, or somebody that they're just struggling in life. And to me, you know, repairing an item for this person just to put a smile on their face, to take them out of a dark situation, that is important to me. So there's been a couple situations to where, you know, I've restored relics for free just to put a smile on their face, or just to, you know, make them happy. Because they were in such a bad situation. There's also situations to where, you know, instead of, you know, paying me to repair your item, you know, they've actually made a donation to my church.
Oh, yeah, that's great,
you know,
man.
because right now, you know, the church community is struggling, you know, to get people and members into the church. And, you know, they've made a donation to, you know, we had the agreement, hey, why don't you not pay me? But if you don't mind, can you make a donation to my church? And how about this? On top of that, I'll have my church, you know, write a receipt to you to where you can use it as a tax write-off, to where then you're benefiting and you're getting a relic that's restored for you and you're happy. And my church is benefiting to where they're getting a, you know, a little financial stability within the church. And to me, that's what it's all about. You know, we're all out here just trying to do what we can to make people happy and preserve relics. So
that's a good point.
Love it.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I love that. Good on you. For
Hey,
that.
we were looking at those relics. That first one, that first really bad plate that we were looking at, you said, you know, the guy kind of drew you in because it was from Gettysburg, right? I mean, that was one of the deciding factors, because it was just a mangled piece of mess.
Yeah, I got to be correct on that one as a female on that one. We'll say, you know, because I just think it was a female owner on that one.
Gotcha.
Awesome.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, speaking of Gettysburg, let's do a giveaway. Before we started offline and stuff like that, you were like, hey, you guys mind if you can give something away tonight? You kind of told us a story about what you wanted to give away. So I want to give it to you here, and tell everybody that's listening live right now, kind of what you wanted to bring to our listeners
And
give back to them. Yeah,
completely
absolutely
blows me
amazing.
away.
Yeah. So, you know, I'll tell you, like I said, it's all about paying things forward. You know, I've been blessed with an ability to do what I do and restore relics. You know, God has blessed me with a gift to be able to do what I do. And I've also been blessed with the locations of where I live to be able to metal detect and find a bunch of nice stuff. So this isn't anything huge, but as many of you know, when I restore relics for people throughout the year, anybody that I do a restoration for, they at the end of the year are entered into a free giveaway that I give away nice stuff. And you know, I give away breastplates and I give away Civil War buttons, you know, Confederate buttons and stuff like that, just to show my appreciation to the individuals that trusted me to work on their relics. Okay. So, cool. You know, in this situation, I was just like, heck, what the heck? And like I said, it's nothing really big, but I thought, you know, it is personal to me because it's something that I actually dug up. This is something that I dug up personally. And like I said, it's nothing huge, but to me, for someone that might not have a Gettysburg relic, this was dug up on the Gettysburg retreat route. It's a Gettysburg Gardner bullet that I personally dug up, and it's dropped. It's in perfect condition with a beautiful patina. And this is just something that I wanted to give away to anybody tonight that's, you know, joining in to sort of get to know me as not just someone that restores relic, but, as an individual. You're getting to know me as an individual. And I just wanted to show my appreciation to anybody that's chiming in tonight on the show.
Yeah, man.
And give away this Gettysburg relic that I personally dug on a retreat route. So it's a beautiful dropped bullet, and whoever wins it, it's yours. Goes home.
Gave me goosebumps, man.
Yeah, man, it does. It gives me goosebumps because
it's super cool when you dig those up.
You're certainly downplaying it, but in my world, and I know Ken's world, and I'm sure everybody else that's listening, that is an incredible relic, not only to find and to display, but to win. I mean, what an awesome thing for you to be able to give away. And I know everybody's really appreciative of that. I mean, seriously, I have goosebumps for you kind of telling about that thing. So very, very cool.
How are we going to do it? How are we going to give that away tonight, Tony?
You're going to send it to me. I'll send you my address.
Everyone's just typing in the Gettysburg address. The more that people that can remember it, they're going to be the winner. No.
All right. So what we're going to do is, if you're listening live on Adventures in Dirt or 5280 Adventures, in the live chat, you guys have to be here live. You got to be able to type into the live chat. We're going to give you a couple minutes to type in, and the keyword that you're going to need to type in to get registered is going to be #Gettysburg. We've mentioned it a couple times tonight.
Yeah.
And, with your kind of attachment in that area. So, you're giving away a Gettysburg dropped bullet. Let's get out #Gettysburg.
Yeah.
#GETTYSBURG.
Put that no space. No space in between there.
No space. No, put it in either chat. It'll get you guys into the giveaway. And we'll draw it here momentarily live. And let me just say, let me back up. Lower 48, please, just because of shipment and cost and that kind of thing. And I hate to do that kind of thing, but JP is kind enough to be able to get this out, on his dime. So let's not break his bank. But lower 48. #Gettysburg. It's flying now. Look at all these.
Yeah, I saw Pop Dan in there earlier, and he's like, "Man, I'm not gonna enter it because I'm up in Canada. I don't."
He's up in Canada. Yep.
I appreciate that, Pop Can. Good to see you in here, by the way, buddy.
Yeah, no capital G practical, Ken. You can just type it in like it is on the screen.
Yep.
I know we've got 47 people watching right now on both channels, and we've got 20 entries. So you guys better get in.
Yeah, get going. Please, if you're just lurking out there, jump in the chat and start typing that in. Real quick, while they're typing stuff in, Tony doesn't have it. We didn't prepare for it, but you want to tell him about that relic you have and see what he thinks of it. Not that if he thinks he could repair it, but just it's very unique, interesting find you did.
Hey, Tony, could I cut just briefly, only because I know it sounds crazy. I'm a dog owner, and I have a dog that's sitting at the back door that's trying to get out the back door. Can I just take 2 seconds to run over and just let that dog out? I'll be right back. It won't be long. I apologize. I'll let you guys chat. Hold on a second.
He's really going to go refresh his bourbon. You know that's what he's doing, right?
Shoot, grab me one then, too, while you're up there.
Yeah, shoot. You know what you know what you're going to talk about with that, right?
I know.
Talk about that. Yeah, that's very cool.
Go ahead.
Man. No, when he gets back, it's just a cool find.
It's awesome. Yeah, I wish I had it with me. Like I said, I last week I was telling everybody we're redoing the house and everything. I'm in the actual laundry room is where I'm at right now. But my previous office, we've packed up everything. It's becoming the bedroom again for the showing for the house. So all of my relics are all packed up. And then you mentioned it like 2 minutes before we go live. You're like, "Hey, do you have that?" I'm like, "No, it's in a box in the garage." So we'll have to just describe it. I know a lot of people have already seen this relic, but I can't wait to talk to him about it and at least tell him about it. And maybe offline I'll send him a picture of it and stuff like that.
I was trying to find a picture on Facebook of it and stuff. But type in #Gettysburg, all one word, all lowercase, no spaces, #Gettysburg to get in on this incredible giveaway from JP Hunts. It is a Gardner bullet from Gettysburg that he personally dug.
Beautiful. Mid dropped.
Lois said, "You guys like scotch?" There's an interesting story with that. I don't know if Tony does either, but we recently were somewhere. I got to be careful because we actually can't talk about it yet. But
sorry about that.
I finally tasted the scotch and it was really good. Like, no, is it raining over there?
Oh my gosh, it's downpouring.
Uh-oh.
Is your dog like, I'm not going out there?
Yeah, I got my dog right here.
Yeah,
You
Nice.
can see him in the view.
No,
Yeah, sorry about that.
no, it's all
No,
right.
you're good.
All right.
Yeah, we've got some funny ones. Practical Ken says get his burger.
Get his burger. Instead of Gettysburg.
It says grubby steak. I don't even know what that is.
This always happens, JP. Whenever we ask people to type stuff in, they'll do it and then they'll type
It's
in funny
fun.
stuff.
And so, how many people do you have signed in for the win?
So 24.
Only 24
Nice.
people in there right now typing in. So
You guys
come
can
on,
see that
get
on the
into it.
screen, right?
Yeah,
You
yep.
Okay.
In the middle there. Yeah. Get her done.
Perfect.
Hashtag get her done. And after
Nice.
this, we do have a lot of questions that have come in while
Yeah.
we've been chatting, and I want to get to some of those too. While people are typing in, Tony, you want to tell that story, that item you have?
Yeah, real quick. Offline, I'll give you more details about this. But I was at a site, a confirmed military camp from 1857 to 1858. Digging the typical things, bullets, buttons. Found. This is actually where we found some gold coins to just throw that in there. But
Nice.
I came up with this. I swear it was a button. I mean, a bullet came up as lead, mid-tone, sounded good, things that we're looking for, right? I'm all excited. I pulled it out, and it is it looks to me like it's camp lead. It's kind of, it's a little bit of a bigger piece of lead. It was like flattened and kind of rolled over. And I was like, okay, well, that's kind of cool. It's still historical because it's at this specific site. And I turn it over, and this is all live on camera. I turn it over to try to, clean off some of the dirt and stuff. And it was actually a bullet that was flattened out. And then they took a button and rolled the button up inside this piece of lead and wrapped the lead around it. You can see that it's a button. I'm pretty sure I can read a little bit of the Scoville on the back of it. I'm like, I know it's a military button. And it's been in my possession now for, I don't know, a little bit of time, and I keep going back and forth, and I've even put it out on social media. Do I open up this lead and see what kind of button it is? I've left
the big mystery, man. It's the big mystery.
We found some Dragoon buttons. We found some General Service. I think we've got infantry buttons from this location as well, and
some big 69s.
Yeah, but really, really cool relic. And I really just kind of want to leave it the way that it is. I'll send you some pictures of it, but it's a pretty neat little find.
Interesting.
Well, I
right?
mean, yeah, send me some photos and I'll take a look at it. But this way I look at it. Not every relic is, should be restored, and some things should just remain as they are. And some people might think because I'm a restorer and I restore relics that I push restorations on people, but I really don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ultimately, some things just need to be left alone, and some things, I could see being restored. For instance, if you ding it with your shovel and you constantly look at it, and you're reminded of the day that you actually struck your only breastplate that you've dug up with your shovel.
Right.
That's the type of thing that you want to
stay there.
You know what I mean? Some things are just so bad. It's like, what do I have to lose?
Yeah.
But in other situations, there's many situations to where, you just shouldn't restore relics. And I tell people that all the time, that, is the risk worth the reward? And sometimes it's not, and you should just leave it alone. And, I've recommended to several people that, that's a beautiful plate the way it is, damaged the way it is. Right. Maybe if you are concerned about what people think about how it should originally look, leave that plate in the condition that you have it and just buy a repo and put it next to it in a display case to give people an idea of, okay, this is what it's supposed to look like. This is the way I dug it. And that's okay. You know what I mean? That's okay to do. I'm a firm believer that, certain relics should be restored and certain ones shouldn't. But ultimately, it's not up to me. It's up to the owner. And I just provide a service to help people with what they want.
The curiosity is I want to know what kind of button it is, because, there's a couple that I don't have yet. But, man, to me, like the personal part of it, that a soldier flattened it, curled
We
it
keep
like,
going back and forth. I'm like, what if it's a
Yeah.
dragoon button? You don't
I
have
mean,
a dragoon button yet.
So this is my thought process on it. And, some might agree or some might disagree. If you have a feeling that a Civil War soldier actually did that, bent it
Yeah.
around and did it. Me personally, if that was my relic, now I'm only speaking if it was mine. I
Yeah.
can't tell you what to do with your relic. I'm only telling you if it was mine. If a soldier did that to that item, me personally, I would leave it the way it is.
Yeah.
It's just me. I just feel that, that's the way it's meant to be because that's what a
Agree.
Civil War soldier did. Now, if you had a plate that was tumbling around in the ground and it was modern plow damage or damaged by a plow or damaged by something
Right.
else along those lines, that's different. You know what I mean? But if you know just by looking at relic that this was likely done by a soldier, then me personally, that's history.
Yeah.
Don't repair it. Leave it the way it
and
is.
that's what I'm leaning on. And I haven't done it because of that reason. But man, I want to know what kind of button is underneath there.
let's
I'll
try
probably
the
never. I do love it. I love the way it displays
I
and the story of it because it is such a historical site. To me, just means more than seeing if it's an I or a D or something like that. So
Yeah, no, I get that.
Tony, let's
Hey,
draw
let's-
this winner.
let's
JP,
draw.
want to
We
hold
got-
that back up again? That killer
Okay,
bullet?
yeah.
Check this out, everyone.
Yeah.
This is
Gardner
just see who the
Bullet.
winner is Gardner Bullet from Gettysburg.
Dropped with
By
a
JP.
beautiful patina.
It is beautiful. Look how big that thing is, man. What caliber is that? What caliber were those Gardner?
I think that maybe it's a 58
54.
Yeah.
caliber or 54,
Yeah.
maybe a 54,
I wouldn't
Yeah.
want that thing
but it's
coming
in perfect condition.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean it is
Awesome.
absolutely beautiful. It's perfect. I mean it's like one of the better Gardner bullets that I've ever dug up. So
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
I
Hey,
just- I
Ricky,
did
do
show
that
my
again in
appreciation.
lowercase. Get rid of the capital G. We'll see if that works. They had one person come in. You want to go ahead and type that in, Ricky?
Yeah.
I don't know if the capital.
Lowercase G.
Yeah, I don't think that actually matters or not. But
I don't know if it does.
Out on it. So
I didn't see it go up when he put it in there, but I just want to make sure he gets in.
Tony Ill Digger says, Tony, rip that off and then have JP restore it like before you ruined it.
That's right.
All right, let's draw this winner. Good luck.
All right,
everybody.
here we go. Good luck to everybody. Here we go.
Very generous here, JP. That's awesome, buddy.
Yeah, no worries.
Good luck. Here we go. Who's it going to be? Fingers crossed. Jim Steele. Ding, 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 ding. Yeah, Jim Steele.
Awesome.
Congratulations, man.
Oh, he stole that
job.
thing.
He did. He got it, man.
Good job,
Oh,
Jim.
Good job, Jim Steele.
Congrats, Jim.
Yeah, you're going to send an email to me, Jim, DK, at adventuresindirt.com. Go ahead and send that over to me with how we can get that out to you, and I'll pass that on to JP, and we'll get that right out to you. So thank you, JP, for offering that
thank
up
you.
to our
Yeah,
listeners.
congratulations. I think it's awesome. So it's a
Yeah.
beautiful bullet, and I'm sure he'll love it.
That's right.
Hopefully
That's
he's not anywhere near Gettysburg because it's kind of cool to be,
Yeah.
somewhere like you
I
guys are in
got-
Colorado.
I got 30 of those, Jim says. No.
He's in
Great.
Iowa.
It's just nice to have something that's, you don't have normal access to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We had
We've got
our guest last week, Tony, real quick. Our guest last week was an author, and we were giving away one of his books. And the guy that won it turned out was like 10 miles away or something like that. He was really
He was on
close.
the other side of the river.
Complete coincidence. Yeah, he's like, oh,
Wow.
wow.
Yeah. Crazy.
That was crazy. Crazy.
Go ahead,
We've
got a whole bunch of questions and topics we want to get to. We've got like 6 minutes left, so we're gonna
6
we're gonna
minutes
get-
left for questions.
That's it.
Oh my
Yeah,
I
goodness.
know.
Doesn't go
This came in
fast.
earlier.
Sorry,
East Idaho
guys.
said, have you found any cannonballs?
Yeah, no, I actually have. So I was
Yeah.
lucky enough. Now, there was a long time that I just went along for a while, just finding a bunch of artillery fragments and partial ones, and I just got so discouraged about it. But I restored probably like 10 relics for an individual that was out in Louisiana, Port Hudson, Louisiana, and he invited me to stay out there with him for 4 days. Took me out to a spot, and he couldn't guarantee me anything, but he said, "Hey, we're in a good spot, so let's see what we can find." And I came up on a good signal in a creek bed, and turned out being a 6 pound cannonball with the bands still attached. It was
Wow.
better. The bands that were still attached on it. So it was a dropped. It wasn't even fired. It was dropped.
Wow.
So it was, amazing. Yep.
Have you restored a cannonball before?
So now I have not drilled them out to where,
Okay.
to make them inert, but I have done the electrolysis and wax seal on them for people. Yes. And for myself. So, yep.
Gotcha. That's cool. Very,
Yeah.
very cool.
Yeah.
I had when we announced that you were going to be on, I've got a friend out here in Colorado, so I want to make sure that I get to this question. He dug recently some older, for Colorado at least, some older locks, padlocks. Do you repair something like that as well? Have you done any?
Like I said, I'm completely transparent with people, so I'll tell you, I've never done a actual padlock to see if I can get it functional again. Now, the problem with the padlock that I would find is that the internal components of that padlock, if it's been in the ground, is what gets corroded or seized up. And with the electrolysis that you would have done on that, frees up some of those internal components enough to where it could actually move or release the lock if it is locked in. And then the other thing is doing electrolysis obviously messes with the patina, and then I would have to add a natural patina on it. And I say natural because that's exactly what it is. It's just a sped up natural patina that I put back on the Relics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
Those old locks are cool for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I'm open-minded about it. So if they want to try to reach out to me or message me, by all means, go ahead. And, there's always that, figure it out. Like, I didn't know I could do what I do until I did it. You know what I mean? So
look at this comment that came in.
Yeah. We got a star in the chat. I don't know if you knew about this.
Hashtag love token daughter in the house. Good job, Dad. You know Ellie Hunt?
That's my youngest daughter that got me all started, guys.
Yeah, she's the culprit, huh?
She's the one that needs to get all the credit in the world for me getting into metal detecting, because if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be sitting here right now.
How about this one?
There you go. We've enjoyed hearing that
hashtag cooler daughter.
That's not a cooler daughter.
It's a whole family event going on here.
Yeah, there she is.
Yeah, I love it.
Other one.
Hey guys, you guys are lending us your dad for tonight. We're really enjoying this.
You guys,
good kids.
You got a cool dad and
cooler daughter.
Cool daughters there.
That's awesome.
Good kids. Good kids.
Good. Good.
I shouldn't call them kids anymore. They're grown women now, but
the daughter dad loves more. Like they're just coming through all that.
That's funny.
Perfect. Hey, I saw this one come in. Detect South Dakota says, we find something that's possibly worthy of a restoration. What's the single best thing we can do after the find?
Okay. So I sort of touched on this earlier. Mm-hmm. First thing you can do is leave it in the condition that you dig it. Don't do anything to it. Okay. Just put it in a bag with the dirt and don't do anything extra to it. Don't try to bend it back. Don't try to clean it or scrub it off to try to see stuff on it. And please do not, if some people have something that they'll clean off, and what they'll do is they're in between whether, hey, do I want to get this restored or do I not want to get it restored? And they clean it off, which is fine if you're not going to have it restored. And what they do is they're like, oh, you know what? I don't think I'm going to get it restored. So they put Renaissance wax on it, or they put a oil-based material on that metal. So that's not bad. Renaissance wax is a good thing for preserving relics that you want to last a lifetime. Right. They're good. They do what Renaissance wax does its job. It permeates the metal, it gets down into the metal, and it preserves it. The downfall to that is, as a restorer, that metal, if I'm micro welding or I'm soldering or I'm welding, to get things to match up or to get things to go together properly, anything that has an oil base on it or that's permeated the metal, regardless of how much I try to strip it down using different types of material, especially with Renaissance wax,
No.
it gets into it so much to where it's very hard for me to have a successful adhesion with a micro weld or a weld of some sort. So I recommend to everybody, please, if you're even slightly considering doing a restoration, do not add any oil or Renaissance wax to it or lacquer of any sort. Oh my gosh, please don't do that. Somebody reached out to me and wanted me to restore a relic, and they put fingernail polish on it to coat it. And I was like, oh, no, I can't. And I unfortunately just had to turn somebody away just today on a beautiful infantry eye button that I could have easily restored. And I probably could still easily restore, but they put oil on it. And to me, that just complicates things, especially with buttons that I don't like doing too much, but it just complicates the process a little bit more. And I'm at a point now to where I sort of get an opportunity to pick and choose what I'm repairing or restoring. And I have so many restorations that I'm doing. I don't want to have to take those extra steps if I don't have to, if that makes any sense. And I don't mean to sound difficult about things. It's just certain things or processes, are a little bit harder than others. So don't put Renaissance wax on it or any oil if you're thinking about getting it done.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah,
Listen, JP, go ahead.
Before we head out tonight, what's the best way for people to get a hold of you, JP?
All right. Yeah, no worries. So sorry I didn't give an opportunity for people to have too many more questions. I talk a lot, I guess. So the best way to get a hold of me is and what most people do is through Facebook Messenger. They message me because it gives me an immediate ding to my phone. And the reason why I like that, it shows it as it comes in. So I'm able to keep track. Now there's a caveat to that. There's a downfall. I get like 5 to 10 requests a week. So if you keep getting knocked down, you know what I mean? So, but I'm able to see it and keep track of it. And that's how I'll respond to you the quickest is through Facebook Messenger. The second, it would be email me directly. I also get my emails that go directly to my phone, and I see that and I respond back. Typically, I usually respond back within an hour or two. I like to get a response back that quick. But there are some times to where it's a couple hours that it takes for me to get back to the emails. And then the third that I don't use as much and I don't post as much as I should would be Instagram. You can get me on Instagram. So, JP Hunt's Relics through, the email, and then through Facebook as JP Hunts, and then also through Instagram. So
if you happen to be listening on the replay here on the audio portion of Relics Radio, and you don't use Facebook or anything like that, you can also reach out to Tony and I, and we can definitely put you in touch with JP if you're interested to go that way too. We definitely welcome that. JP's a great guy, and we'd be happy to put you together with him if that's what you want to do. We're always open to that kind of contact. JP, you've been an amazing guest, man. I knew you would be.
Awesome.
We could have probably go another 3 hours, I'm sure, because there's a lot.
I feel like I left a lot out, especially when it comes to restorations, and like there's so many things or little tips that I sort of wanted to go over with people and let them know and give them an idea of what they should a little bit more detail do or not do, just to give you guys a heads up. So the Gettysburg Relic Show that's coming up in April, I'm usually at all the Gettysburg Relic shows. So if you want to come to my table, you can see me there. At my table, I sell Civil War relics. I don't, I'm not there to sell stuff that I've restored, but I'm there as someone that does also sell relics, but I do have a portion of my table that goes over a lot of the restoration work. But I've decided this year that I was going to put up a video. A lot of people have asked me and are inquired to how the heck am I getting into these buttons and repairing these buttons and getting these push outs out of these buttons. I'm thinking about putting up a video. I already have the video. But putting up a little screen up at my table at the Gettysburg Relic Show to where it takes you step by step on the process of what I do to actually get a button pushed out, the process. And I think a lot of people will be surprised about how I do it.
You
Mm.
could do like I showed tonight, just those little bit of photos, not a step by step, but
In process.
you put all that on a loop, man. People would just stay
Sure.
at your booth and watch that.
Yeah.
Watch
Yeah,
that flow.
that was my thought process.
Yeah.
And ultimately, it's not to get people to have me restore more relics. Believe me, I'm busy enough. But ultimately, it's about meeting people in the relic community. I just want people
Amen.
to come up to the table and just meet people, meet new friends, make new friends, and have an opportunity to get out there and enjoy history and get to know people, because that's all what it's all about. So to all the people out there that have trusted me with their items and repairing their items, thank you very much for trusting me with your cherished relics. I know how much of a big decision that is, and I don't take that lightly. And with every item that I work on, I put my heart and soul into making sure I have a positive outcome for them. So with that said, I wanted to thank everybody out there that's trusted me with their items. And if you decide that you want to move forward and send your relics to me, thank you for considering me. And then also thank you to you, Ken, and Tony, for always putting together an outstanding show that everybody should tune into every Wednesday, not Thursday,
Yeah,
but
there you go.
Wednesday night.
Yeah, thanks. And that's why we and Tony do this show, just to connect and meet people, like-minded people. And it's always interesting how what a shared story a lot of us share about how we got started and how it took us over and all that kind of stuff, and what we respect about this hobby. And when you meet people like-mindedness like that, it's always great, because we do all share a very similar story for sure. But hey, thanks, man. Like Tim Ildigger said, JP Part 2 coming soon. We definitely have to have you back on, because there is
and I got a lot more.
to
I got a lot more information out there, or stuff.
Next
that
time
I
I'm
think
bringing
that-
my bourbon with me next time, so I can join
That's
you
right.
all. But
Yeah, Part 2. We're here
Yeah.
for you.
Love
great.
it.
Last words, JP, and we're going to put you in the green room, and then Tony and I will say our goodbyes to you off the air. You okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Last words. Let everyone know where we said where they can find you, but do you have any parting words for everybody?
Yeah, I mean, no, I think I've already said them. Just look, thank you for trusting me with your relics. And if you decide that you want me to restore your relics, thank you for considering me to be able to do it. I find it I'm very humbled to be able to have that opportunity to work on your relics. And I want to thank the two of you for doing what you do, and being involved in the relic community the way you are. And I'll just end it with that. Real quick, if anybody wants to get some garb, I do have some T-shirts still available. So just a couple. I'm deciding to go to a green, 100 green. So I was blessed, and I sold off a lot of them, and I only have a couple of them left. So if anybody's interested in T-shirts, you can also message me on that as well. So,
Perfect.
but again, thank you guys for everything.
Sure. Thank you. We'll see you in just a second. Excellent. Man, I knew that would be awesome.
Just knocked it out of the park, man. No. And I'm glad Tim said something, man. We got to have him back on. We talk about this shared doc that we have. I think we just deleted maybe 2 things off of there. We have just so many things to talk about and rabbit holes to go down, and just just a great guy to talk with. Gosh,
yeah, that could have
amazing work.
That could have gone so many different directions, man.
Yeah.
Hardest restoration,
right?
Yeah, all kinds of ways,
Yeah, I know. I'm looking at the doc here, man. Just some good stuff.
Yeah. So we'll have him on again for sure.
Absolutely. Great guy.
But if you're out there by the Gettysburg Relics show, go on by and see him. Look for his booth out there, and let him say hello. I know it. Who was it that said Detect Dig Smile? Said he's near Gettysburg.
Yeah, in that close.
Go by and meet JP. That'd be awesome.
Cool.
What do you got going on, man?
Just join me over at 5280 Adventures, YouTube, Instagram, Rumble. What else? Facebook. Tons of stuff, tons of content, social media. Just head over there, and then join me on Sunday nights. Taking a little bit of a break for this home restoration, but join me Sunday nights for Are You Smarter Than a Relic Hunter? See if you guys can get how many questions you can get right on that. So appreciate all the support, guys, and just want to say thanks again to JP for that giveaway. That was
Yeah.
telling you, man, I did have goosebumps. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So
Look at Tim,
Awesome.
Bill Digger. Micro welding? Question mark. Yeah, we could get into all that stuff.
I know there's 45-minute question right there.
All right, bud. Thanks everyone for joining us here for Relics Radio. We've got some great announcements coming up regarding Rush to the Rockies 2025 here in Colorado, May 30th through June 1st. Some good announcements coming on that. We're just trying to dot the I's and cross the T's before we let stuff out. But thanks for a good show. I knew JP would be awesome. If you guys want to check me out over at Adventures in Dirt and all over the social media, Adventures in Dirt, you can find all the stuff I put out. And I would love to see you over there. But have yourself a great weekend coming up. And if you go dig stuff, good luck. Make sure you tell us about it. We always love hearing about the relics you're finding out there. But good luck to everyone. Stay safe. We'll see you next Wednesday.
Thank you so much for listening to Relics Radio. We will see you back here next week for another exciting guest. Until then, get out and dig it all.